Well, my new 80 Bauer collection. I got a 45-liter duffel that I can stick all of this in when you go through TSA and when you get on the plane. That way the duffel is longer and not wider. Because I was using that backpack, but when you fill that backpack up, it basically, I don't know how you can see it, but it goes up about 2.5 feet or something like that, 2 feet. Whereas when it's totally full, it takes a lot of stuff. I will give it that, but I've found two occasions already that it don't fit in the overhead when you have it full, and you end up having to take half of the little bags out. But I had my other stuff in bags anyway. It wasn't a big deal, but it's a little annoying to have to take the bags out and fit the 3 different bags in the overhead while people are waiting on you in line in a plane or something, stuff like that. So I switched to a duffel that I can put everything in, so it's longer and not width-wise thicker. This is my day pack. It has my 3 pairs of glasses, my extra wallet that has extra stuff in it. Will have my passport in it and all the stuff that I cannot leave unattended by myself, since it's the bag you pull out and take with you if you have to check anything else, whatnot. It's my day pack. That is just basically a half a sleeping bag. It's a sleeping bag version of a blanket, just because it's half the size of a regular sleeping bag. I just bought it in the meantime between now and when I get my ultralight sleeping bag delivered. So far, FedEx said it went from California to Kentucky, and I'm in Indiana, so I'm waiting on it to go to Indiana, or to get to Kentucky first and then come to Indiana, because I went to Kentucky because I also bought a battery pack for your phones that has solar panel built into it, and I'm pretty sure they're shipping them together. But in the meantime, that was cheaper. It was like 10-12 bucks, and all I needed was a blanket at the time. Comes in handy though. It stays nice and warm on one side of you. Doesn't do the whole sleeping bag all around you, but it comes in handy, especially on the plane. Some planes that are cold, you can wrap that up or use it as a blanket. This is my new backpack to replace that one eventually, because it doesn't have the infrastructure weight-wise that one does, because this one can fold up into a pocket like that one. All 3 of these ones fold into a pocket, compress into a pocket like that. It's one of the reasons I bought it, that and they're all lightweight, versus this is even empty right now. Weighs a little bit. It's a nice durable bag, nice to have, but when you are on planes every other day and consistently moving, this gets a little bit heavy. And like I say, with the overhead problem, it's becoming more of an issue than anything else. I want to keep it until I can store it someplace or something. A friend of mine gave it to me, and I like the bag itself. It's pretty durable and whatnot, but I'm just trying to go a little more lightweight. I'm considering buying a temporary storage unit that's 5x10 here in Goshen to be able to store stuff here, and then that way I can start out my trips on an empty bag and then come back with souvenirs, so to speak, of places that have gone or whatever, if I can afford to do it. Not that I want to pack rat too much or anything. It's just thinking about temporarily until I buy a car. I might buy a cheaper car that's between $500 and $2,000 as I save up. And the idea behind that is I can park it at Synergy's lot or whoever's lot that I'm working for, and while I'm on that trip, you put a parking pass in there, in that lot, and then they store the car for you, and it serves as a portable storage unit that doesn't cost me anything month after month, except for the gas to bring it from one little town to another, and it would only have to drive 20 miles between Goshen, Elkhart, Bristol, and Topeka, Indiana, in this kind of general RV manufacturing area. The other bag I have is a Thule. I like the Thules because they have a structure to them. They're thicker, more padded. They work great for holding phones and holding cords and stuff. I have those 2 phones. I'm eventually going to sell the one, I think, because it's a 3G phone, and it's basically a paperweight. I hardly ever use it. So next time I see one of those cell phone for sale machines in Walmart, I think I'm going to sell it. That's my other phone next to the alarm clock that has straight talk for Verizon Tower. The phone I'm recording on now has straight talk service for AT&T, and I do 2 different networks for that reason, so that when I'm in places like Kentucky or way over in Oregon, apparently I noticed that AT&T don't work in those places, and Verizon does, and then there's other places that Verizon doesn't work, and AT&T still gets service. So it's nice to have 2 phones with 2 service, and I end up using a lot of data anyway, because especially with my moving around, if you're moving motorhomes like I do, they're bigger, longer vehicles. They're harder to park. You can't get up close to free Wi-Fi buildings and stuff. And so I just got used to packing 2 forms of data to stream videos on when I'm not driving. But that is my new set of stuff I just wanted to show you. That backpack in the back replaces that other one eventually because it's half the weight empty. Because right now that's empty, but it still weighs something. Versus this one weighs nothing, virtually nothing when you don't have anything in it. It's going to pack my workbook that has my DOT number and class cards and license plates and triangles and all that fun stuff in it. And it's going to pack that sleeping bag right there. It'll stuff the majority of the rest of it. Then it's going to pack my clothes that are hanging up drying behind me because I just washed them. Like I say, that duffel is pretty much going to pack them both when you go through the airport. That way everything's long instead of thicker in the overhead, and it'll fit in virtually any overhead for the plane or bus. This is my toiletry bag for now. It used to be my day pack that would hold all that stuff, but this one's slightly bigger and easier to get in and out of, already you've noticed. And this one is starting to have a tear on the outside and, you know, showing its wear and tear a little bit. But it'll work good for a backpack that would, mostly so that I can separate my shavers that have battery powered. So if they turn on, I don't have to fight everything in there to get to them, to shut them off. So this is just gonna have your basics in a Ziploc bag. So, and then I put everything in the Ziploc bag within there so that any liquids leak or anything, it catches it before it gets to the bag. And then also I can just pull the Ziploc bag out and show TSA. And that's one of the hints with TSA. If you show them your liquids and everything that you've already separated and put in a clear bag before they tell you and all that, they're less likely to check you on the rest of the outfit. And then I also bought the duffel so that I can keep my license plates and stuff separate, but keep it right on top of the duffel so when they open it up, they can see that it's just license plates that mess with their imaging. So they don't have to search the whole thing, or if they do go to search it, it's easier because they only have, you know, this bag and that bag, and then some coats and stuff in the duffel instead of it all being packed tight in there. And I had that baby packed securely and tight before these bags showed up. But it's kind of a pain in the ass when you go to the TSA. You gotta fight it to close it and everything, which in a way worked in my benefit when I come to them because they didn't want to do it. But just for them and for me and everything, I'd much rather have a 45 liter that I just take to the airport. The idea is if you have to go to the counter, most of the time you can do an online ticket and skip the counter at most of the bigger airlines and go right to the gate and go on, and you only have to worry about TSA. But if I have to go to the counter to adjust anything, what I would do is I would wear all my clothes, or try to, and then put everything extra in that backpack. Then that backpack only basically has the weight, very little weight of this and that sleeping bag in it, and it's nice and light. So then you pass the counter with the light weight thing because they can't do anything about you wearing clothes. Then when you get past the counter, then you would go to the restroom, or, you know, strip off whatever clothes you can do in public and put it all into the duffel. Then when you go through TSA, you have your basic set of clothes that you're wearing with nothing else on, and everything goes to the duffel and the TSA belt, wallet, belt, everything. So you basically have a duffel and a pair of shoes that go through the belt. And then when you go on the overhead, you would have that duffel that has everything for the overhead, except for I would probably take that day bag out because I cannot lose these, because I have to drive with my glasses on, and about the only time I ever use my glasses is when I'm driving. So I have 3 pairs of them in there because they're cheaper to buy as a 3-pair sale at the time that I bought them. And then I, of course, have my other wallet, and I'll have my passport and birth certificate and stuff like that. It's very valuable stuff that you can't go without, but you technically need to have with you at different times when you go throughout the country, and so I would take that out with me. But that's your basic toiletry bag. That for right now is just extra weight that I'm going to be packing around until I find a use for it, but it's basically going to be the bottom floor of that duffel for the moment because I don't want to lose it yet. It's a good enough backpack that I want to keep it, but I don't want to use it on the daily. So I'm going to end up using it to store stuff that I keep around here in Goshen down the line. All name brand, same thing as any Bauer name brand all the way through, and that reason being is when you go to hotels and airports and stuff like that and you're wearing brand name stuff, you look like you have money, then security and cops and everything tend to leave you alone. It's just sleeping in the airport or wherever, versus your generic traveler. that wouldn't have that. But I just thought I'd show you my newer bag system that I came out with, and eventually I might get it. If I do get a bigger Thule bag, it'll probably be the roll bag that they have a hard roll bag but I have to check on the measurements on whether it would fit on some of those smaller planes, because the last thing I want to do is get a roll bag that's bigger than the duffel that doesn't fit in the overhead, because then you have to check your bags all the time. But I'm right at the point of where I might just do a roller. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but if I do a roller, it'd be a hard case one instead of a soft case one, because I took a soft case one to Hawaii, and it was a $50 bag from Walmart, and it was a soft case side, and then they tore it open on the way there. Then they lost another one. So just in 3 times I've checked the bag, I only had one come out in good condition, which is mostly why I don't want to do check bags. But, you know, partially considering doing a hard case roller. If I have to pack more heavier stuff for work, if for some reason, you know, they want you to pack stuff that you can't go through TSA with. I already had a multi-tool taken by TSA, and I had a spray can of deodorant taken by TSA, because I couldn't have either one at different times. And it does seem like they pick on you and try to pick one little thing that they can take from you every time. So I do have to figure out something to do with a multi-tool, because I do need... Right now I've been getting away with doing fasteners, just a nut and bolt of a license plate, and then just finger tightening it. Just because I only have a 2 or 4 day trip with it anyway, you know, you're not too worried as long as you have 2 of them on the license plate, so if one fails, you have the other one still holding on. And I just put that on the rear license plate like that, but other drivers have been saying to also get a set of zip ties. So I'm going to do that and zip tie it whenever possible too. But then I have to carry a small pair of scissors, just for my own personal grooming, and to cut the zip ties and so forth. I haven't messed with the small scissors. But I'm trying to make it as TSA friendly as possible, so when they go to do stuff, they don't take stuff. But we'll see, and I'm going to have to get used to the roll-on deodorant, which I don't like. I prefer the spray deodorant, but I haven't been able to find a spray can that's small enough to make TSA's requirements. And they're $7 to $10 a shot for those cans. So, little things I'm working on, but I just thought I'd show you the bags. Next video will be about my outfits and the way I'm going to decide to work living on the life on the road with what I'm wearing. In the next video, like and subscribe, leave comments. We'll catch you in a flip. Peace.